Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are starting with some work here in front of the Persephone garden. We're going to do some plant removal, some mulching, plant staking. When we're done with this, we're going to head over to the fireplace area. I got some new cushions for those chairs, and I know that's kind of random, but I just need to take the time to put the cushions together. I just showed you what our old cushions look like the other day. They're like starting to fall apart, so it is time. And then after that, we might do a little deadheading planting. It kind of just depends on how the day goes. Let's stand back and take a look at this area, but first off, look at the grass. Oh, doesn't it look awesome? It's just coming in so beautifully and so thick. I'm really happy about that. But this area here needs a little bit of attention. So this boxwood hedge right here, it looks random now, but it used to make sense. There used to be a, small white picket fence, which we removed this year, this section right here, but there used to be more white picket fence that connected to the end of this boxwood hedge and went right this way, because this used to be a driveway right here when we very first moved in. Our property line used to be like right about here was our property line, and then all of this, where the south garden and formal flower garden and our big lawn, that used to be raw pasture. I mean raw in that there was no infrastructure. There was no water set up, no electricity, like it was just a completely raw piece of ground. And then our driveway was here, and then we had, that short white picket fence that was broken up when we moved in by little sections of privets. And those privets were largely dead. Like there were huge dead sections. In fact, the people who lived here, our friends who lived here, had started ordering boxwoods before we bought the house. They had planned on starting to pull the privets out and replace them with boxwoods. So we got to do that after we moved in. It was kind of a weird concept that like some of the fence was hedge and some of it was vinyl, and it kind of just like went, I don't know, here and there. So now all of that short white vinyl fencing is gone at this point. Now this little wing of boxwoods is just kind of breaking up this flower bed. It just kind of cruises right through the center, and I'd like to incorporate this whole thing now that we have our definite border right here. And the boxwoods aren't doing that great. They've just been kind of slowly dying, and I'm thankful it's this section and not the section over there in the Persephone garden. All of these boxwoods in here, we planted as well. They used to be privets. They were huge dead sections. So this has been really nice. But like, look at this. I mean, just big dead sections in here. There are some that are okay, but they're so old and established that we are not going to try to transplant them. Been there, done that. Unless you could get in there with equipment, like an excavator or something that has a bucket that you can really get a lot of root ball, it's kind of an iffy process. I usually have a hard time if I'm just trying to dig with a shovel getting a lot of roots, and I've had a few established boxwoods make it. But in this case, we're just going to pull them and move on, and that's okay too. I'm not really sure what we're going to find right here, because you can see these connect, and we're going to need to reform these, I'm guessing. Like this one looks like it's growing a little bit further out this way. We'll be able to shear that. But I think right in here, we're going to have a pretty bald looking spot, and it's going to take a minute for it to recover. We're also going to need to add one or two toward the end to finish it off and make it to the pot, kind of like it is on the other side. But I think having the boxwoods gone, opening this area up, we'll be able to start thinking about what we want to put in here in a more real way. And then we're also going to bring in some mulch. Once that's gone, we'll fill in this area, make it look really nice and tidy, and bring the mulch to the new brick border. And while we're at it, because Aaron's bringing the Bobcat over, we're just gonna try to wrap around these boxwoods and pull them out with the tractor. There is one dead one over here. So right in this line of boxwoods, we've got one. That's not looking too great. I think that one's completely dead. So we need to pop that out and get a new one put in. This area is a little bit tough because we've got a huge juniper, a big leyland cypress, and I continually cut branches off these evergreens, but they eventually kind of like grow over and want to push on the boxwoods. I don't think that's what happened here exactly, because that one's not really, not much on top of it. It could be that they're competing for moisture and all that as well. Oh, I've always loved this view right here. I'm excited for this though. I'm ready for a shift in this flower bed. I'm ready to get it filled up. I've been looking for arbors because I think I'd like to put doesn't need to be an elaborate arbor, but I'd like to have a small arbor that indicates where the pathway comes out and just start filling it in. So right in here, we do need to take the pathway out to about in between the first couple of U's, and we need to redirect so it comes out more straight. Anyway, I'll still put mulch here so it looks nice today, and then we'll need to do a couple more U's to finish off the hedge that we've got going. But wouldn't it look pretty to have a little arbor right in here, and eventually like have it planted to where it's sort of tucked in looking. It won't be perched. It'll look perched for a while, but I think that would be really, really nice and bring some vertical interest. And one other thing I do know I want to do is I'd like to get my hands on like a blue sky Serbian spruce or something like that to plant in front of this hose link. Hose link is very handy to have right here. Might even install it a little lower instead of having it perched on top of this post. That way we could at least eliminate about 1.5 feet of height there. But anyway, I want something right here that will mask that hose link, especially from this view. Like when you're driving down the lane, I'd kind of like to see plants and not the hose reel. Eventually. It's just fun to think about all those things. Here comes Aaron. Side note, these pots are spectacular and my favorite pots on our property. Super Bells, great punch. This is a Lobelia Laguna Royale lilac, purple. No, this is the Royale pink. And then we've got the double smitten pink, Super Bells. There's the Virtuoso Vivid Violet Dahlia, my favorite of all the Virtuoso Dahlias right here. And then we've got the Unplugged White Salvia, which is looking a little more prominent in that pot than in this one. Isn't that just beautiful though? So I don't know. I thought he was going to bring the forks over with a chain or something. What's your plan? Are we not going to like tie around the base and yank them, or are you going to, is that what we're doing?
Probably.
Okay.
It's just going to be tough because of the border. We're going to be kind of pulling it like an odd angle.
Oh, sure. I didn't think about that. Yeah, Aaron just mentioned we've got to be careful not to get the tires on the brick border so we don't mess it up, so we might be pulling at a weird angle. Fortunately, they're not super deep-rooted plants.
No, yeah, we'll just figure it out.
Okay. All right, guys. Here we go.
This looks old.
That does look
I mean,
old.
this is original. It's when we put the drip in.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it suffers.
Cheers up.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first one. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. We'll have to come in and shear, like I said, right here, and then we'll just have a little hole for a bit while it recovers. Or, you know, maybe we take that one out eventually and put a new one in. I don't know. But this is what it looks like after it comes out. Pretty easy. Oh my gosh. I was trying to level up that container because I noticed it was sitting in a bunch of water. When I released the weight of the container, it came down and splattered me. Pretty good with mud. Lovely. All done with the removal portion of today's project, so I thought I'd give you a look before we do some cleanup. Starting right here with the removal of the dead boxwood. That looks a lot better, just having nothing there as opposed to having the dead boxwood there. So I'm gonna go grab one. I've got one in the high tunnel. But what's interesting is that we just heard this drip system turn off. And this area right under the boxwood is dry. So I think, I don't know how old the drip system is under here. We've got one row that runs in front of the hedge and one row behind, but clearly the emitters are plugged here. So I'm going to pop in a couple of extra emitters in here when I plant the new one, just to ensure that the new boxwood's getting the moisture it needs. And this other flower bed, oh my goodness. I can't wait to clean it up and put mulch in it. Look at this, oh my goodness. Having that boxwood hedge gone makes this area so much bigger. It's likely I might come in and clear out some of the stuff right around the June snow dogwood. I don't know yet. I did find this piece of random edging that I will toss because, I don't know, it's been there for a long, I didn't put it in. So it's been there longer than we have been here. We've got some cleanup to do in terms of, like, you couldn't even see what was behind those boxwoods. So I couldn't see that there were, you know, alliums that needed to be cleaned up. We've got some Queen of Sweden, David Austin roses right here, which will now be getting even more light now that at least toward the bottom, now that the boxwoods are gone. Oh my goodness. It's gonna look so good though, having this cleared up. I'll shear that boxwood like it needs to be with a fresh layer of mulch right here. Oh, and then we've got a couple of trees to stake. It's the Spring Glory service berries I planted earlier this spring. I planted them in a trio right here, and I've got one in particular that's wanting to lean over. So I thought maybe I'll drive a stake in the ground and kind of tie around all three of them. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna go about it, but I want these to be a little bit more upright. See the Russian sage looking gorgeous. Here's a look at this flower bed from this angle. My goodness, goodness. There's some fresh mulch. Wow. Oh my goodness, now we can really start thinking about plants now that that big hedge is out of the way. I'm such a visual person that usually I have to clear stuff out in order to start rebuilding. And my natural inclination is to go in with another evergreen, not a boxwood, but like something right in here to kind of fill in this space. But I don't know that I'm gonna go that direction in this flower bed because I kind of love the view As you drive, you're driving on the lane, you can see over the Boxwood hedge and you can see the Persephone garden and the Hartley. That's such a pretty view. So I don't know that I want to do anything that's too thick. I mean, I can do some taller things in here, but things that you can maybe see between, that sort of thing. So it'll probably be a minute before I actually start planting in this area, but having it cleared out and cleaned up is step one, really. So I need to go gather up a rake, a pop-up bag. I think that's about it. Maybe some drip supplies so I can cap some of this drip. Like that big spool of drip you see on the ground that came from underneath the Boxwoods. I don't know. I don't know where it connected, where it goes, but I can at least cut it and end it right there, possibly. And then we're gonna have to turn the system on because I feel like it came out, like it pulled out from another tube over here. All right, so let's work on phase number 2 here, clean up. All right, tree has been staked, and what I decided to do was just to put in one bamboo stake in the center of all 3 trunks and then use these tree straps to wrap around the trunks. And I try to go up the trunk a little bit so that it doesn't have an opportunity to slide down, like it's held up by some branches on all of them. And then I just tied them at varying lengths depending on how much support they needed to get them to be the shape that I want. So I'll probably need to come in and prune out some of the interior branches eventually, but I really like the shape. They look a lot better and they should hold. Then I came over here and added another boxwood, which meant that I needed to add on to the existing drip tube because it stopped. The run stopped right underneath this boxwood. So I added a coupler right here, a 1/2-inch coupler to the end, and then just added an extra piece that just wraps around the front side of this one and then ends. So we should be good. And it'll take a little bit for that one to grow and fill in, but it will get there eventually. And these are at the size I want them to be. So we'll just keep shearing those down. And then this one can eventually catch up. And then we also got this little spot filled in, which was super easy. I popped in 2 1-gallon-per-hour emitters in the existing drip line and just planted this one in the hole that the other one came out of. Watered it in thoroughly, and so that one should be good to go. So the last thing we have in this space is the mulch. But before we do that, I actually grabbed one more boxwood because of all the boxwoods, which we planted 520 some boxwoods out in the formal flower garden, we only lost one. It's just looking a little bit brown. It never came out of its winter color. So I thought, well, while we are in boxwood addition and replacement mode, we may as well get that one done. So let's run and do that, and then we can mulch. Well, hello.
Hi.
I love your crown.
Thank you.
That's very nice. What you doing?
I've been working inside to put this on.
Oh, have you been working on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you did a fantastic job. I love it. See, this one's not looking so hot. Dry. Much better. And that took about 1 minute. Should have done that a long time ago. It looks so much better. Starting on this side, you can see the new boxwood, and I mulched around that. And oh my goodness. Look at this. And what we use for mulch is compost, so it's going to condition the soil. It keeps everything really nice, and it looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We went ahead and brought the mulch down just a little ways. In fact, I got to pick up a rake over there. Forgot. So even though, you know, the rocks are going to change right here, it's just nice to cover over that white soil that we had going on right there. It makes the plants look better that are in the pots. And then we'll tackle this later on, a different day. And then we decided to wait on this space right here because we've got some drip in this area that we want to pull up. I had annuals here last year, and I decided not to plant any up here this year. So anyway, we're going to take that out so we're not, you know, watering this center section for nothing. We left it because we thought I might plant some out here, and then turns out I'm not going to. So anyway, we're going to take that out, and then we will finish mulching this whole flower bed. Let's walk in here and take a look. And to mulch back in here, I just kind of sling mulch. It doesn't go all the way underneath all these plants. I just kind of try to cover up the soil as best I can underneath those things. The trees look better, all staked up. And this is about where we started with the mulch, right here. So I didn't go all the way underneath the ash tree or anything. It's just this section right here. But doesn't that look sharp? Oh, it makes me want to get in here right away and plant. It's kind of funny. The second we clean up a space is the second I feel motivated to go in there and make a big mess and plant new things. Just kind of the way it goes. But I just could not be more pleased with how this whole thing looks. I do not even miss that boxwood hedge, not even a little bit. I think having it gone really, I don't know, it really confirms the fact that it needed to come out. So now I need to decide if I want to move the Durvellas. There is a totem pole panicum in there too. It's not getting enough light. Just to kind of decongest this area. I don't want to walk in there too close because I don't want to put a bunch of footprints in the brand new mulch. But I think I might like to see the trunk on the June Snow Dogwood in there. It has kind of a lean, but I think I would like to see it anyway. I don't know. One step closer to getting this area sort of worked out. Gosh, those pots are gorgeous. Okay, I am a complete sweaty wreck at this point, but I do really want to get those cushions out and replaced. So let's head over to the fireplace area and get that done. So these are the cushions. I ordered them from Home Depot in the color beige. Beige seems like the most boring color, but it doesn't show our cat's hair. And you might remember the dark blue cushions that we had on the set that's actually sitting in front of the greenhouse, and it has these new cushions on it. We put them on last night. Anyway, they were in the greenhouse for the winter. The cats used them as their beds. They were dark navy cushions that were really pretty, but they just showed everything, and they were so disgusting, and I pitched them and got new ones. We got to put them together though. I really wish we could order them already done. You know, you get them at the store and they're all like perfectly fitted and they look really good. And I try to do it and they look like a lumpy mess. Oh well. Oh, these are like the nice big thick ones. Oh, one down. Got 4 of those and 4 seat back cushions. Start right here. All right, not too bad. Yeah, see our old cushions completely falling apart. Oh. Oof. These are all stained up. Seen better days. Ooh, these just feel gross. Oh, sweet. These don't have to be, I don't have to put a cushion on these. Oh, perfect. It's weird shaped. Oh, that looks so much better. They're clean and they're not ripped. And honestly, so this beige right here was a little bit more on the gray side than the last ones, which were way more tan. So I ordered these cream and gray striped lumbar pillows, and I think they look really good. They look perfect with these cushions. Oh, doesn't hurt to have the incredible hydrangeas back there. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, they're comfortable. I love it. For some reason, outdoor cushions are something that I drag my feet to buy. And it's probably because we have not only 2 cats of our own, but there's tons of other cats that come through here and they're just outside. They get trashed, you know, pretty easily. And we do cover ours for the winter. So we got quite a number of years, really probably more years than we should have out of the last cushions. But I just dragged my feet on buying things like that. I'll buy plants all day long, but patio cushions or outdoor cushions, once every like 6 years. And these lumbar pillows, the brand is Honeycomb. I got them on Amazon. I think I'm just gonna repeat the order for the set over by the greenhouse, which we can walk over to real quick. Oh, also on the way, you can see I brought the footstools out. 2 reasons why they're out here. One, when I was looking for cushions, I could not find replacement cushions for this size of cushion. So I thought, well, these aren't super bad. I could have them recovered, or I could recover them, or we could just try the area without the ottomans for a little while, because honestly, they really neck the area down and make it feel too closed in and like there's too much furniture. And I don't know why I never thought to just try the area without them. So I'm just gonna put them up in the barn loft. We'll try it without them, and I bet you anything we won't miss them. Here they are. I think having more of those gray and cream striped pillows would be really nice out here. And I think I'm going to put a little tablecloth over this. This is actually a set that was here when we moved in. There was actually 2 sets. There was a dining table and chairs, and then this seating like grouping. And the previous owner sold it to us for $200 for the whole thing. And we didn't have any furniture for this place. And so we thought, well, that's a really good deal. So anyway, I really like these. I've always liked the backs of them. I think they're really pretty. So I'm thrilled to have them. Samantha's been working on a centerpiece right here for us, a little fairy garden centerpiece collage. And we've also got like our little mint hedge right here. We've got Swiss Ricola mint, lavender mint, spearmint, and French peppermint, and our golden creeping raspberries. That's an experiment. Anyway, you guys, what a great day. What a big project, getting those boxwoods out, cleaning up the area, getting it mulched. It looks so much better. And then replacing some of those things, those couple of dead boxwoods, and adding the one that we knew we needed to add that right from the very beginning. I just haven't done it yet. So getting those kinds of things done just feels so good. And the cushions. I always drag my feet, but I'm always so glad when I actually do it and get something done like that. And now we will hopefully not notice any cat hair, or not as bad as we did on those dark colored cushions. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.